All right, I couldn't find my Cub Cadet service book, but this looks like the way you're supposed to do it. So we're going to make this happen right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, we're on the Oliver Man. I need to get in there, see, to a seal, see, on the bottom of the crankshaft, see. So this is what I came up with, you know. A guy could get in there, maybe, possibly. Boy, it's leaking fluids at an alarming rate now or something. And pull that seal out and make this happen. So I'm gonna give that a go. Like I said, that's one of the smarter things I've done, but it should work. We're putting faith in our loader. That's Don't try this at home, dummies. Set you here where you're slightly outside the danger zone. I already proved that to be false by the fact that, yeah. What I'm gonna do, I thought I could embiggen. Okay, let's get to that. I guess I'll drill a hole in it and try to pull that seal out. Boy, she's leaking though. Where would it be leaking from up that high? Don't know. Maybe our engine seal isn't the worst of it. The only thing that makes this better is that we're doing it in the direct sunlight, you know? Working excellent. Also, we're using a drill bit that's junk. That's excellent. Well, now it leaks. That was dumb. That wasn't a very good job I did. Nope. Sure wasn't. Well, I've made a mess of her now. I made a mess of it. And I broke my screw off. This job is going great. It's going great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, friends. Wonder what it's like to not be stupid. Come on. Come out of there. Oh. Come on. Well, this ain't working at all. Almost. Not quite there. The spring is back in there. Get that off of there. Okay. We might have a chance now. We need to clean that up a little and perhaps put a little bit of Permatex on the new seal to help it. But I think we can make this happen. Every time I think I've done the stupidest thing I could ever do. I come up with some new Mickey Mouse way to do something dumber. This is one of them. Would have been so much easier probably to just put that, take that motor off of there and not have to do this kind of rig. Okay, I gotta be able to see what I'm doing. Oh, see, we're gonna already struggle. Come on. It's so close. Okay, that ain't gonna work. I need to get the old seal to use as a driver to get it down in there. But the way that this is made, I can't get a good purchase on this. Oh, that ain't gonna work either, is it? Narrower punch, maybe. Got that a little more. All right, we're gonna set that rig back down, push it back into the shade. The direct sunlight's kind of miserable, friends. Okay, I got that seal in there. I'm happy with it. Laying down here looking at it, I'm confident that it's good. It may still fail later, but who knows. But look, this bolt was so loose back here, and you couldn't see it because it's covered with this all the time. So we definitely got to tighten these bolts, and they're dirty and oily, so we're going to clean them real quick, and then we are going to put some Loctite on them and try to make this happen. I discovered that, well, what am I trying to say here? Lost my rag, for one. I've got some kind of a cold I've had for, well, since school started. Anytime you get back around those kids, you start getting sick. It's like a sinus thing or whatever, and it's just been kind of an annoyance. It takes my energy away, but it hasn't really stopped me from doing anything. But I noticed laying flat on the ground under here, it's really making me miserable. It's stopping me up and I can't hardly breathe. I guess when you're in bed, you've got pillows, so your head is kind of elevated more than your body, but I don't know. That's a miserable one, friends. All right. Do a generous helping of the old Loctite. Let's see what we can get. Should have probably had the socket ready to go, but I knocked my spring off of the. That's fine. I think it's probably this, and it is. All the tools are right here. Some people complain and they say, why don't you have the tools right there? Well, they are, but so don't freak out. Can't always have every tool known to man right next to you all the time. This is going to be a interesting. I really need to have this here. Uh-oh. Oh, boys. I'm afraid that hole ain't very good. And I wonder if it's a... No, it's not a through hole to the outside. That's going to be our problem, is those bolt holes are probably wore out. I mean, it's 13 years old, and it's aluminum. And what's probably going to happen is it's not going to stay tight. It's going to be a pain. But this thing is just a backup. It shouldn't, I don't intend for it to be in use very much. Just, you know, last minute desperation days. That's what I'm intending. Let's clean that up a little bit. Try to get maneuvered here. I got all my stuff, but gotta get it in and out of the whatever. We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay. Uh-oh. Acted like it didn't want to. Well, I appreciate the tightness, but I don't appreciate the cooperation. It's a two-edged sword here. I'm a big enough boy that I could probably destroy the aluminum. So I don't want to do too much. Ouch. Come on. We're getting there. Slowly, slowly, but we're getting there. I wonder if this is a nice through bolt here for that. Yeah, it is. Because I'm thinking ahead here. When I take these out, I'm going to have some room. So, I don't know. Okay, let's clean. Let's not just smear over. Or let's just smear over, I don't care, you know. It's almost humorous sometimes that you can't, how is it that you can get something loose, but then it doesn't want to go back the way that you went? See, like that, that's not playing nice. There. It's just a matter of struggling. Come on. All right. Well, we're definitely doing it some good. Whether we're totally getting it fixed, I don't know, but we're definitely doing some good. Now you are right in the way. Imagine that. I'll try to make do with you there, even though it's a struggle of sadness. Get to look at the back of my hand again. Some people like my hands. That's fine. I get private messages saying you have beautiful hands. The most beautiful hands on YouTube. Well, we need to clean that up too. Just a minute. Or let's struggle. We can do that too. We can struggle. All right. There we go. More Loctite. Maybe Come on. Come on. There. Oh, boys. My phone's going crazy today. It's going crazy. There we go. There we go. I think that is excellent. That is nice and tight. Good and tight. Much better than it was. Look at that. Still nice machine marks on here like the day it was made. How about that, friends? We got those tight. So our next affair, I think, in the progression of sadness of how we want to handle this is we need to take the rear end out from under it and put the different hydro fans on it and then put it back in. And while we have it out, we can also check these little breather things here and see if they're full of garbage, because that's a common problem that makes these hydros not work right. So plus everything has been just absolutely ransacked with that belt when it came apart, so we need to double check everything. But I don't know how this all comes off. I'm gonna assume that these rods are gonna come along with it. We'll unhook them at the other end, and then we'll just unhook the other. Like I said, there should be a drive linkage, and then that release linkage is up there somewhere. So that should be no problem. That release linkage should follow with them because they just go through a hole. So we can make that happen. But the only thing we'd have to physically unconnect probably is that driving linkage. So let's see how that goes. Alright, I'm chasing shade, trying to stay in the shade. But basically, right here is a clip that if I could get that out of there, that should disconnect my parking brake rod. However, that might be easier said than done. I think I've been it there. I'll have to watch when we put it back together that we actually do the thing. So that's that. This one should just go through that hole. I don't really know where it's hooked on the other side. Can't see it. But I think through some creativity I can probably get it, unless when I take the wheel off after a while it appears that it will go. I think I'll push it forward again and then try to hang it from the loader and then take the wheels off and take the bolts off. I gotta take the wheels off to get to the bolts, so no matter what, I gotta do that. I can't just roll it out as an assembly. I'm gonna see if I can get this broke loose. It really should be the other way around with that pliers thing on the... That ain't gonna work. I'm trying this pliers, but it's not... It ain't like the other red pliers for whatever reason. Now maybe it'll hold. There. Gotta remember where that is, or I mean, let's look when we take this off. Is there more than one position, or is it pretty obvious where that goes? So that's no problem. Let's put that on here. Actually, let's put it through here, so we don't accidentally bend that arm or something while we're fooling with it. Yeah. Alright. basically this side is done. We got to do the same thing to the other side. So now I shut the camera off. My fat fingerness. I'm gonna get to this. And I can't tell how this one is. Oh, I see it now. Gotta get this part away. There. Alright. Ouch. This is very uncomfortable to do this, I'll tell you. Well, or not. Or not. What's happening here? Okay. Spinning on the backside. Pliers from a viewer. Sure. There's a spring laying on the ground that looks like it's from something important. We'll put that aside. Okay. See, if the sun wasn't set to easy bake, I could just work on this outside. But it's kindly miserable with that sun baking directly on me. So I'm trying to do it here in the shade, which don't really make it very handy, but that's how she goes. I suppose now would be a good time to try to lift it, hang it from the, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. Should probably also take all the hardware off so that it doesn't get lost. Let me see what I can come up with, and I'll bring you back. Alright, that's less sketchy than before. Probably a little higher than it needs to be. But I'm going to get the wheels pulled off, and then we'll see what kind of bolts. I think there's just 2 bolts on each side, and that whole rig will drop down. We'll probably lower it to the ground a little more so it doesn't drop, you know, 1.5 feet. But yeah, don't remember what size they are. They're little. Are they even 3/4? That's what they are. All right. Oh, good, we got one. These actually, at least one of these tires, I might have had to replace one since then, but I had a friend who had these on his zero turn, and after I got this one, his mower blew up, and he said, hey, you need these. And that's what got me started on the tractor lugs on zero turns. Well, that's interesting. That doesn't look very good, the seal, but we're gonna ignore that. We don't want to know. That's not for today's problem. Can I even get this in there? Or is this? I mean, you need a 1/2-inch drive impact to take little 5/16 bolts loose. See if that'll do it. Like I said, I think there's only... Oh, that's a fun wrinkle. Fun wrinkle on it. You can't hardly get it in there. I bet the other side I won't be able to get any of that in there because it would have the fuel tank. So that's going to be a fun time. I don't know. I'm also trying to sit in a way where it won't cut my legs off if it falls. I don't know what's holding it still, other than one bolt and some imagination. But look at that. Yep, that Oh no, there's more up there. Okay, we want to put this back in. Alright. Yeah, we probably just caused ourselves a lot of unnecessary grief here. I thought that would be strange that it would only have 4 bolts holding it in, but tighten that back up to hold it up. There's 2, it looks like 2 bolts up front way. All right, one more bolt of sadness. I should have put the wheels back on. Because this ain't very graceful. Not very graceful at all. But it did work. Well, now we can see the carnage. This one left the chat badly. So I guess we will get those. Yeah, here's the tube for that. I wondered what that was. Why, that's the tube for this. But we're going to take those fittings out and make sure they're open too, because I've always heard that was a common problem that things could have. Boy, when we put this in, we're going to have a struggle too, aren't we? Because we're going to have to get it. I guess we could lower the whole thing to the ground a lot more. So we're just working with centimeters of clearance instead of, you know, feet. Let's see, what do we think that is? 3/4? Oh yeah, close. I'm very positive it's probably metric, and I'm not using metric stuff. I'm using American size. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. I don't know how these are made. There is a washer in there that's shaped like that. It's star shaped like the blades, and there's a star shaped hub there. And this fan must have, I don't think that matters where that goes, because it's, but I don't want to take it off if I don't have to. Yeah, that's all I got left. So about $18 later, I was able to get this, which I hope is the right thing. It doesn't look like the right thing, even though that's what it called for. So that really blows. The parts book said this. Is it those 2 little nubs that are supposed to go in and hold? That doesn't look right. Like, I don't think that's gonna go. I guess it could. Wonder which way's up in that scenario. It would have to be that way, because if I put it this way, it will hit, won't it? That's the way the other one's on there. Well, that's unfortunate. That looks like what it's supposed to be, but it's not. Okay, so if I don't, let's think about this. It's not gonna work because there's nothing that will, I can't engage that star. So these are not the right fans, despite the parts book, despite the fact that these were the more expensive ones. I should have taken it apart first. that's an important lesson you should all learn, is that you need to take it apart first before you buy parts, because otherwise you will be sadly disappointed like I am right now. So, son of a Knudsen, that sucks. Alright, so I guess I should explain. I had to order the right ones. The part number's right on it. So had I just taken it apart first, I would have known. Would have saved all that money. But here we are. So now I'm going to check and see about these fittings. I thought that they were like one-way breather fittings, but I don't get anything through either way. So we're going to make sure this isn't plugged up. I was always told that that was a common thing that happened. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying not to rest my leg underneath something that could fall, but what do you do finally, you know? I don't really know where to go other than just to blow some stuff through this and see if it'll open up. I mean, this one, the tube wasn't connected, so that ain't good. Also, it'd probably be good to read up and see if there's a, you know, like how full this should be, full of hydro oil, because that might be something that, you know, would be pretty handy to do right now while it was out of here. Interesting stuff. I don't know. Alright, it's coming out of there. So that's nice. Whatever I did with my tightener. Let's make sure this tube is empty. It is. Let's put that back on there. That's not very good. Wonder if a guy should switch in for him. Like if he would go like this. See, we're gonna struggle now, but let's do that. Now it probably won't pull off of there. It'll self-destruct and destroy everything. Gonna do this side too for good measure. Since we got it this far apart, we might as well. Again, I don't know how much hydro fluid's supposed to be in there, but sure would be a good thing to look up right now. I feel like this one's plugged up. There we go. It's obviously either a little filter in there or a check ball or something. It's probably some type of mesh or something that's very fine. Make sure the tube's empty. Ooh. It's not. It's plugged up. Good thing we did this. It's plugged solid. That is the same thing that happens on radiator overflow hoses. The stupid mud wash somehow can build a hole in the tiniest of areas, and it's not just like, look how far in it is. I'm hitting the obstruction right there. So, yeah. Alright, how does this one stay on there? Any? That stays on pretty good. Alright. New fans are ordered. We should probably take this one off to be sure. Something dumb wasn't going to happen. That one's almost intact. The guy can see how it's made. Just has 3 tabs that sit down in that hub. But I'm missing blades, friends. I'm missing blades. So I'm gonna lay this stuff on there. Probably what I'll do when I need the loader tractor is just, I'll set this mower down on a tire or both tires, lay them on each side and just set her down for now. But it's getting more maintenance than I ever thought that it would, because I thought that I was pretty well done with it. But at this point, we might as well save it and mow a few more times with it. We got a lot of the issues lined out, so we just gotta take it over the edge. Not literally, but we will. If it fails, we'll just take it over the edge of a cliff. But I don't know. I did notice that this side of the parking brake is not very good, so I think we'll ignore that because that looks expensive to fix. I don't want to have to go in here. This side still works. This side will kind of grab if it hits it the right way, but I would bet that it's not going to be as easy as just replacing this. So that's why I think I'm going to just ignore it. But I guess we'll call this one here. It's another failure, but little did I know that what the parts book said was wrong. And I should have taken this out first and looked, but I knew there were two different kinds. But usually when there's two different kinds, it's always the most expensive one. And that's how I went, because that's what the parts book said. And the parts book was wrong. So that's okay. We've been foiled before. We'll be foiled again, but at least we learned some things, how this goes. I'll try to look up and see about fluid, if there's a test location and how much and what, and then we can get this put back up in there, and hopefully she'll run like never before, you know. So we'll leave this one here.